Welcome back to Washington Watch. My name is Joseph Backholm, and it is my pleasure to be sitting in for Tony today and with you. Now, there is breaking news today from Florida as the state Senate passed a bill to eliminate the special taxing district that allows the Disney Corporation to self-govern in its theme park area.
I am announcing today that we are expanding the call of what they are going to be considering this week. And so, yes, they will be considering the congressional map, but they also will be considering termination of all special districts that were enacted in Florida prior to 1968, and that includes the Reedy Creek Improvement District.
This bill, which now requires a vote in the state House before heading to Governor Ron DeSantis for signature, continues the battle between Disney and the Florida legislature and governor, which began over Disney's criticism of the state's parental rights in education bill. Joining me now to discuss this is Florida State Representative Randy Fine. He's the author of HB 3C, the Independent Special Districts Bill. Representative Fine, welcome to Washington Watch.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Well, we are glad to have you. This bill would eliminate a special taxing district that Disney has benefited from. Tell us a bit more about what this district does for Disney.
Sure. Well, in the late 1960s, as Disney was getting started, Democrats in Florida decided to allow it to govern itself, create its own roads, its own zoning, its own safety codes in order to help it get off the ground. And maybe that was a good idea in 1967. But here we are today in 2022, and we have an issue where we have lots of theme parks in Florida that don't experience those same privileges that Disney have and don't benefit from these special privileges. Disney's a California company that's a guest in our state, and it's time that we take a look at whether they should have these special privileges.
So specifically, if this district is eliminated, what impact would that have on Disney?
It would say that they don't get to self-govern. The area that makes up the Reedy Creek Improvement District would divert back to Osceola County and Orange County, the two counties that it came from. And then they would be subject to county and city regulation, just like every other company in the state of Florida.
Now, there have been some allegations, I should say, or arguments that if this district is eliminated, it would take about $2 billion of debt that Disney currently holds and transfer that to local jurisdictions. Is that true?
No. First off, it wouldn't transfer a dollar of debt that Disney holds. It would transfer $1.1 billion of debt that this special government district holds to those local governments. But those local governments would also get the tax revenues that's used to sponsor and pay off the debt. So from the perspective of taxpayers, there would be no difference. This is just a scare tactic being whipped up by the left to avoid doing this. But really, this isn't just about Disney. This is about all districts in our state that were created before our state constitution in 1968 and have never been updated.
Now, are there any other companies in Florida that enjoy similar benefits to what Disney enjoys?
Not a one. And that's part of the issue that we're looking at here. You know, when Disney was created, they were the only game in town in 1971 when the Magic Kingdom opened. But today we have Universal Studios in Central Florida. Disney has 4 theme parks. Universal Studios has 3. But they don't get to create their own Jurassic Park improvement district and govern themselves. They have to follow the laws of the city and the county where they exist. SeaWorld has to do the same. Busch Gardens has to do the same. Legoland has to do the same. No other company, theme park or otherwise, gets to self-govern. It's almost like Disney has seceded from the state, and then they get to run their own little empire.
It is an unusual arrangement, to be sure, but we all know the history that has kind of led up to this moment, the recent history in Florida. You've talked about some of the older history, but more recently, there has been a bit of a conflict between Disney Corporation and the Florida legislature around this parental rights bill. And is there any sense in which, are you concerned, I should say, that the public would see this as retribution or bullying by the Florida legislature because a company said some things that the legislature didn't like? So now they're trying to exact revenge, politically speaking.
Well, I think it's hard to say something's revenge when you're proposing to treat a company the same as every other company that's in that same business. But what I would say is I think the only bully here has been a California company that's tried to bring California values to Florida. Look, in California, it might be okay to run up on stage and deck someone because you don't like what they have to say. In Florida, we're a little bit more civilized, and we don't want California values in our state. Frankly, we think America would be a little bit better served if we were more like Florida and a little bit less like California.
Representative Fine, what's your reaction to the broader issue here, the parental rights bill that passed in Florida, the debate between Disney and the state legislature, and really with the public? How has the public in Florida reacted to all of this?
Very well. Look, these left-wing wackos hugely miscalculated. They took a bill that wasn't a big deal. They came up with a very catchy phrase, "Don't say gay," thinking no one would ever check to see if that's what the bill actually did. And this has hugely backfired on them because every demographic that is polled on our parental rights bill, including people who voted for Joe Biden, overwhelmingly support the idea that 5-year-olds should not be groomed in school. This is not a controversial thing. And so these companies that have gotten whipped up in this wokest view of the world are getting crushed. And I don't know what the issue is. I don't know if they just thought it would be good for fundraising and politics to make people think we hate gay people, or whether they thought that they could that they actually want to groom children. I don't know the answer to that. All I know is this has backfired in a big way.
Representative Fine, we thank you so much for your time today, as well as your leadership on behalf of children in the state of Florida. Thanks so much.
Happy to be here.